You know, it is very hard to make an NFL team if you're an undrafted rookie free agent, if you're a journeyman free agent, if you're a late round pick. It's hard to make an NFL team, especially when you don't have any preseason games to go out and show what you can do. Yet these guys are making the case. Yo, everybody, how you doing? King Dingbat here. So today we have come with the hell is that? It's a big ass dog. Dallas still stinks. Yo, everybody doing? King Dingbat here, and I hope everybody's having a good Friday. I hope you guys are doing well. You know, I cannot wait till the NFL season begins. I cannot wait. I am so ready for football to begin. I just love this time of year. I love when football starts. It starts to get cold. Then the holidays eventually come and it's eggnog time, yo. You know, I love this time of year. And I'm looking forward to football beginning, even though the Eagles are going to start the season at a disadvantage. They are going to start a season at a disadvantage. Make no mistake about it. The Eagles are not going to have fans allowed to at their games, as you guys heard yesterday, this came out, until further notice. So at least probably, let's say the first few weeks of the regular season, the Eagles aren't going to have fans at the stadium. This will be a disadvantage. You got teams like the Chiefs who are, I think they're going to have 25% capacity, something like that. I guarantee you, teams like the Dallas Cowboys will have fans at their stadium in some capacity. And I think that is a big disadvantage for the Philadelphia Eagles because there are not many teams, in my opinion, that feed off the energy of their crowd like the Eagles do. And I think it's going to hurt us. I do. I think it's going to hurt us early. Not something we can't get past or we can't weather the storm or anything like that. We can. But I do think it does put us at a disadvantage. I just hope that the NFL doesn't do what the NBA did, okay? Please don't do what the NBA did and put fans up, you know what I mean? Like people watching remotely. That looks so dumb. I hate it. What the NHL did, where they just kind of covered the seats, you kind of forgot about the crowd after a while. I think it came over better on TV. I think the NFL should do that. You want to put advertising and stuff, you know, and kind of cover those seats. It'll look much, much better than having, you know, all these like people with big heads and stuff, all different directions, you know, looking at a screen. Don't work. It just don't work. Okay? But that's my opinion. All right? Now, training camp has been very interesting so far. It's been very interesting, and especially in that there is no preseason. There is no preseason, and I kept thinking to myself, how are these guys going to go out and show that they can win a job? How do you do it when all you have is practice and you don't really have that in-game preseason game to go out and really have an opportunity to wow the team? So, you know, it is hard. I think it is a disadvantage, but there are some guys that are really pushing. They're really pushing for a roster spot. And some of them might even win one. And I wanted to go over some of these guys who have really, really stood out, tell you what I think of them, tell you if I think that they make it in the end or not, okay? The first guy we got to talk about is DAndre Burnett. DAndre Burnett, the wide receiver, the Eagles brought him in late last year. He was effective when he was given a chance. And he came in, and he is good every day in practice. Every day I hear about a DAndre Burnett play that he has made, a nice catch that he's made, something that he has done to stand out. He is pushing these rookies. He is really making the Eagles, he is really giving them a hard decision to make because he has been good enough to make this roster from what I've heard. He has been good enough. And here's the thing. Quez Watkins has been good enough. John Hightower has been good enough. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside has been good enough. Greg Ward Jr. has been good. They all have been producing. I really am liking Moorhead, this wide receiver coach. I think he's got these guys right. And it's going to be a numbers game with Burnett because I don't know what they do. Okay, you have let's say you have Alshon Jeffrey starts on the physically unable to perform list. So he's gone early in the season. You still have Deshaun Jackson. He makes a team. Or Jalen Reagor, he makes a team. I think Ortega-Whiteside, they're not going to let him go. He's a second-round pick. He makes a team. Greg Ward Jr., he's making a team. Then you have Quez Watkins or Hightower. One of those two guys is making a team. Then the question is, how many receivers are the Eagles going to keep? Are they going to keep 6 or are they going to keep 7? I think at this point, if I had to guess, I say they keep 6 and they're going to keep a Hightower and Quez Watkins. Meaning, I think Burnett could be on the outside looking in. Even though he's been as good as he has, I just think that when you draft and you draft a player and you give a pick for that player, you're not likely to let him go over a guy that you signed off the streets a year ago. The question is will Burnett be able to clear waivers and make the practice squad, get him back on the practice squad? Me personally, I have no problem if you want to keep 7 receivers. I have no problem, okay? Because once Alshon comes back, you're going to have to do something with one of these guys. If you want to say, oh, Burnett has a stubby toe and he's on IR, let's do it. But I would say right now, I think it's going to be hard for Burnett to make the team, even though he deserves it. He definitely deserves it, okay? So he is one guy that is really making a case. Another guy that is making the case to make this team is AK-46. AK-46, Adrian Killins Jr. Now, I always say this. If the coaches are calling you by a nickname, you are impressing them. You are doing something that they are calling you on that level, okay? And everything we hear about this kid, they are in love with. He does kick returns, punt returns. He's a running back. He's lining up as a receiver in the slot. He's a Swiss Army knife. And they've even said so much. I think personally, the Eagles are in love with this kid. And I said this in one of my channel membership videos I'm going to be putting out later. You can't let a guy that can take the ball at the 5-yard line and go all the way. You can't take a guy like that and just get rid of him. You can't do it. If you put Killins on waivers, somebody's going to pick him up, I guarantee you. Somebody's going to pick him up. You have to keep him, okay, in my opinion. Now, do I think they will? Absolutely. I think this kid's making a team. Remember, the Eagles, I think they can keep 55 people. So, instead of 53, it's 55. Don't be surprised if the Eagles keep 5 running backs. Okay, they keep 6 receivers and 5 running backs. Don't be shocked. I think here's how I see the running back situation right now. Miles Sanders, Boston Scott, and Corey Clement. You can put Corey Clement and Boston Scott, whichever's 2 or 3, don't matter. Then I think Elijah Holyfield has the lead right now. And I think he's your 4th running back. I think Killins is going to make it for special teams, and he's going to be your 5. So I'm going to say Killins is going to make this team. And I'm excited about him. He's one of the guys that really excites me on this team. No question about it. Another guy who started training camp looking out when he came in is Joe Ostman. Joe Ostman's coming back from an injury. He was making a run last year to make this team. And everything we've heard about him, he has been dominant. He has been dominant in practices. He's been dominant going up against everybody. He was throwing Andre Dillard, who's now out for the year. That's a whole other issue we're going to have to deal with. But he was throwing him around like a rag doll. He has been getting sacks. He's been everywhere. Joe Ostman is making a legit play for this team. And I think it's going to be very interesting what the Eagles do at the defensive end spot, right? Because you got Derek Barnett makes a team, Brandon Graham makes a team, Josh Sweat makes a team. I'm assuming Vinny Curry makes a team. Maybe you keep one more guy. Maybe you keep 2. Maybe you keep 1. Who's going to be that guy? I think Jannard Avery's got a shot, and I think Joe Ostman's got a shot. And I think at the end of the day, based upon performance, based upon everything I hear about Joe Ostman, I think he makes this team. I think he's going to make the cut. I think he's going to be right on the border, on the edge, but I think he makes this team. So I'm going to say Joe Ostman, he will definitely, in my opinion, make this team. Now, two other guys I want to talk about on this team real quick. First guy, Noah Taake, and sometimes I say his name wrong. The tight end, Noah Taake. He is having a very, very strong camp as a tight end. He came in from Oregon State undrafted, and the kid is having a great camp. Now you have Perkins, who is out, and the question is who's going to be the third tight end? I think Noah Taake. I think the Eagles like him. He's a name to watch. I think he could make this team. I think he can make the team as your third tight end. So keep an eye on him. Another guy is Casey Toohill. Casey Toohill has been very good in camp also. I think it's going to be a little harder for him because of the numbers game. It's just going to be hard to make that cut. But I see Casey Toohill as a practice squad guy. I think DAndre Burnett comes back as a practice squad guy. It's going to be hard to make it at some of these positions because the Eagles are so deep. When I look at it though, I think Adrian Killins Jr., I think Joe Ostman, I think they make this team. And I think Noah Taake, based upon the Perkins injury, is going to make this team as well. So I think the Eagles could have three guys that were right on the edge, beat people out. But then again, you never know because we don't get to see preseason games. We really don't get a case to see these guys. But if I had to guess, I would say Joe Ostman, AK-46, and Noah Taake are going to end up making the cut when it's all said and done. And right before they do all their cuts, I'll definitely do a 53 or now 55-man roster, and we'll go through it. But those guys are pushing for a spot on this team, and I'm very excited about all of them. Let me know what you think in the comment section. With that said, take care, talk to you later, and don't be a dingbat.